Hey everybody! Today is February 14th, and you know what that is. We are 1 month away from Steak Day and Pie Day. They share the same day, but that's not why we're here. We are here on Valentimes Day. Yes, I said it with an M because that's what it is. It's Valentimes Day. Some of you will get that joke, and
yeah, they'll get the 1 month away from the other day.
Yeah, they'll get that too. So what that means is we're at February 14th. This is my low carb update halfway through, right? So I came to you with an update, I believe it was on the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th, on those days, a summary. And now today on the 14th, we're going to talk a little bit about Valentine's Day later. And we're going to talk about the day 10, 11, 12, 13 update, into the 14th. So really up until my weigh-in this morning, that's an update until the 13th. So then we'll talk about today and what we're going to do and how we're going to cheat on Valentine's Day and those kind of things. So if you recall, the last time I was on a bit of a roller coaster ride, dramatic weight loss. Then I went up, not really dramatically, but went up a couple pounds. It's very disheartening, I hate to tell you. When you're trying to stick to a I hate to use the word diet, but stick to a plan, the lifestyle plan of this, whether it's whether it's vegan or whether it's just quitting alcohol or whether it's just quitting smoking, you get a relapse and it just wants to punch you in the face. You want to relapse. So we remember I was up and down and up and down, and I think I came back down. I was up to 214.5, then I weighed in at 212.5, then I was all the way back down to 210.5. Then I went up to 211. Then I was at 211.5 for the 10th, the 11th, and the 12th. Did not cheat, did not lose an ounce, just stayed at that plateau. And I'm going to get to that here in a minute, why I think that happened. And then all of a sudden, magically, on the 13th, back down to 210.5. That was weigh-in on the 13th. And then weigh-in this morning on the 14th, all the way down to 209.5. So I broke that 210 barrier. That makes me kind of proud. I'm halfway there. If I go by the total numbers, that puts me down 6.5 pounds. But if I really go and look at the averages, I'm still only down about, I didn't look at it. I want to say it's down about just almost 5 pounds because I have to look at the previous 7 days. That's the way I do my average. So on weight alone, it appears that this low carb journey, almost keto but a little bit alcoholic journey, right? Although I'm really cutting the alcohol out to do this, has proven quite effective just on the weight status. It regulated down, it regulated up, it did its little wiggle room, and then I plateaued. What I attribute to that plateauing is my work schedule. And it's not so much my work schedule, but how I eat when I'm on shift. So I have a lot of days off, but I work a lot of days on. And on my days on, it's always a 12-hour day. I work 12 hours at my desk. So by the time you calculate the drive in, doing some turnover stuff at work, that easily equates to a 14-hour day. Try to get some sleep in there, come home, have some dinner on that crazy schedule, get a shower, do whatever, take out the garbage, clean up the kitchen. You're into a massive day. So I attribute my steady weight during that time. Without the gradual reduction, I would rather see, a quarter pound. Of course, my scale doesn't do quarter pounds, but I'd like to see a quarter pound down every day rather than this big flat and then boom, boom down. So I think it's because of my eating habits. When I prepare my lunch in the morning, I'm getting some grazing calories in there, those vampire calories that are coming to get me. Spoon some leftovers into a container, lick the spoon, make a few, stir up some dip. I make ranch dip all the time. Stir that up, lick the yogurt off the spoon. After I mix the dip up, I'm licking that spoon. So if you think about it, it's not carb calories and it's not really a lot of calories, but that sort of interferes with that intermittent fast too. So now my body's not burning my own fat. My body has this opportunity now to use my minute but still additional intake of calories as energy instead of working on what's already there. So I've got some phantom calories there, and I do it all the time. Do I do that when I'm preparing meals? I think we all do. Once again, I said in the beginning that that's going to be one of the big challenges. Even though I've cut it way down, that is always a challenge. What else happens? I'm on this 12-hour shift. I get home, I'm tired, I just want to eat, and I'm going to go to bed. So I probably eat far too soon before I go to bed. But now that I'm eating more fats and moderate protein and less carbs, I don't have that full bloated, my belly's too full, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I do have turbulent sleep, but that's a different attribute. I do believe the lower portions, it's not lower portion from a portion control standpoint. With this kind of nutrient-dense food, with this kind of calorie intake, I find the need to eat more is gone. I'm much more satiated with a smaller amount of food. So, eating late, not so good. Trying to do the intermittent fasting, so I try to not eat a meal all the way around the clock. Am I going the right way? No, this way. Around the clock, right? It's backwards for when I'm on the camera here. All the way till, 10, 11, 12 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. That's the typical thing. So, the late dinner's bad. I should probably take dinner to work and eat at 5 or 6. So, that's bad. Also, I do not get the amount of fresh greens that I really try to get. We love salads, we love fresh vegetables, and we tend to not do that because there's cut time, prep time, clean time, cook time. So even if we don't have fresh vegetables, just easy as to take out some casserole or heat up some leftover meat or some leftover chicken or whatever the heck we got. It's just easy to throw stuff in and heat it up and not put in the work. Don't I always say that? Not put in the work, Touch, right?
Right.
To make that, to give ourselves that green, good, extra thing, right? I don't want to fall into the old paradigm of Atkins, no salads, just all this protein, and that's a slack. That's a fall when I'm on day shift. So that I attribute that to part of it. Maybe I'm getting more calories from that protein and fat than I really should. I should be getting some other nutrient-dense foods in the form of greens where there actually is a little bit of fiber in there. There's carbohydrates, but it's almost all fiber and that kind of thing. So that's another fall down. So I talked about my work days. I'm looking at my notes here. My phantom calories, my lack of fresh greens. So I talked about the 10th and 11th and 12th were a plateau. I also, when I'm at work, I tend to graze all day instead of sitting down eating a meal. I can have a snack out of a baggie for breakfast. I could take a snack out of a baggie like in the form of a serving of almonds or a serving of cashews or walnuts or something like that. And that's easy and it can appease me for an hour. But now that just gets that body and that metabolism going. And even though you should be satiated and should wait another half hour to reevaluate if you're hungry or not, guess what? Right back into the food. So now I'm breaking out my large container of my lunch portion, and now I've had a snack on top of lunch, and I'm actually over full, right? I didn't give my body time to satiate and get those very dense calories in me and working. So that's a problem with the grazing mentality. I tend to do that at work. Once again, not sitting down at a table, not utilizing a nice plate, not utilizing a nice set of silverware, nice poured beverage, right? I'm drinking out of my water bottle. It's just all of these sporadic things I think are working together that cause that cause that plateauing. So what happened was I actually worked from home yesterday and I was able to avoid that grazing mentality. I had a fairly nice sized lunch and no snacks at all through the day, and then once I got off work, essentially I left the office and went back into the kitchen. We basically reheated leftovers, didn't do those greens and everything, but overall, the overall caloric intake was down without feeling hungry, and I was still down an extra pound from the day before. So a lot of factors in there. It's not just about what you eat, it's not just about the calories, even though calories count. It's how you eat it, when you eat it, how much water and how hydrated you stay. Like I said, I haven't had a single drink now. It's got to be a week. When did I falter? It was a week ago. It was absolutely last Friday. So it was 6.5 days. Didn't have a single drink. So I didn't go way down from being dehydrated and way back up. I didn't play that game. I went down, came up just a wee little bit, plateaued, went back down a couple pounds. Enough about the weight.
But we did have greens last night. We had broccoli.
Well, we had a vegetable, but it was like a reheated green. It wasn't like a really fresh green and a serving of vegetables, right? She's right. We did have. It wasn't a freshly manufactured, a freshly prepared dinner serving of broccoli. We did have at least one serving, maybe 1.5.
Right.
A large serving of broccoli with nothing on it but butter. No salt, no pepper, no nothing. Just a little bit of butter. Delicious. I don't know. Call me a purist like that. So what we did is I did the no grazing thing. I'm down another pound this morning. So we had discussed maybe having this cheat day. Was back on the 3rd or 4th, whatever it was. It was a Tuesday for meeting our friends for a social event. So that didn't pan out. I ended up having some Jaeger to try and get back to sleep that night. I still had my alcohol intake for that, but I didn't really have an enjoyable drink. So since I worked on New Year's Eve and we didn't celebrate New Year's, we have 2 bottles of champagne, one for each of us. Yeah, that's right, one for each of us. And we're going to have that, and we're going to drink today. We're going to celebrate Valentine's Day instead of New Year's. And it is now 4 o'clock, and I've just started. So I'm down to here with 1 beer. We're going to go have a bottle of champagne, probably before dinner. Do some dinner preparation. So how are we going to cheat? What kind of meals are we going to have? Well, we didn't have breakfast today. We didn't have snacks today. We didn't have lunch today. About a half an hour ago, oh my goodness, that is so good after not having it for a week.
That means
Actually,
you get drunk quicker.
Oh my goodness, that is so good. We had a mini bagel chaffle cut in half. We each had a half. Melted some smoked Munster on that. Put a layer of a layer of exactly 5 pieces of pepperoni on that. Grated some mozzarella and put it on that. See where this is going? A mini pizza bagel chaffle thing, right? So we had a miniature individual pizza that was only about that big. This is our snack. This is so that we don't get shit-faced when we have a drink here. And then we could lead into our celebration of appetizers and meal for later. So on top of that mozzarella, I sprinkled a little bit of Italian seasoning, a very slight drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, some good oil. Threw that in a broiler for about 69.5 seconds, and it came out, and we had a mini pizza bite. That's certainly enough to satiate us, right? We're not starving like Marvin. And we're going to be able to have a couple drinks without this feeling of slobbering on ourselves later. So we're going to have some drinks today. We're each at least going to have a bottle of champagne each. And I started with this beer. She had a vitamin water. And if we decide to keep drinking after that, well, maybe we'll open another bottle of wine for ourselves. Or maybe we'll have something like clear liquor. Like a clear liquor. So maybe like a whiskey, or a vodka, without all this sweet added crap. So we're going to have some drinks. We're going to have, as an appetizer, chicken hearts, seared and served with a shallot butter sauce. So that's pretty much grazing food. Pick a couple with a toothpick out of a bowl and eat those just like that. I'm actually going to make some collard greens. That's just an aside, just because I don't want my collards to go bad. Probably won't even have that much of that. We've got some small steaks, small New York strips. I'm going to say they're about 7 ounces a piece, so right about the right serving size. We're going to have some steamed asparagus and then finished in a skillet with some more butter, some balsamic vinegar, and then topped with a couple shavings of goat cheese at the table. And then we're going to have another new dish. This is a new prep. We're going to have loaded radishes. Think loaded baked potato skins, but it's radishes. So I do not have the traditional little red radishes. What I have is a couple of nice daikons if you think about the flavor profile of a radish, they're kind of similar. The daikon actually has less of that punch in the face bite. It's a little milder. It's the kimchi radish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut those up into discs, and then I'm going to quarter those. And you would be very surprised at how much a radish has the crunch and the mouthfeel and even the texture and some of the flavor of a potato if you eat it fresh. You want it left over? Throw it away. Not good leftover, but good as a potato mild substitute. You're giving your body some satiation from the crunch and the texture and the other things. You're going to get the cheddar, you're going to get the bacon, you're going to get the chives, you're going to get those other fillings in there that you would normally have in a loaded baked potato as a faux baked potato. So you're going to get that feeling of nourishment and awesome game day kind of food, right? But we're going to use it as a side right beside our steak and our asparagus. Oh, and instead of making a large side salad of probably another one of those Greek kale side salads, I'm going to do a smaller one. So we'll have a small side salad. We're going to have that. That's going to be way more than enough food for the rest of the night, plus that extra appetizer of that, what did I call it? Oh, the hearts. So we're going to have that, yes, and we're going to have drinks. So overall today, our calorie count is going to be through the flippin' roof, right? Because we're going to have normal sized meals, which we've had a lunch fest, not a breakfast, right, or a brunch. We had a lunch fest late in the day. It was essentially a lunch, after lunch snack, but we didn't have breakfast and lunch. So even with that considered, skipping those meals, moderate, I'm going to guess dinner is going to be 1,200-1,400 calories if we eat it all, including the butter on the asparagus, the extra butter and the cheese and stuff in the loaded not potato, loaded radishes. So I'm assuming it's there. But then, we're probably going to have 1,000-1,400 calories in liquor and booze, maybe more. So that's a downfall. We're going to go over. And not only that, it's going to be alcohol. We're going to be dehydrated. I'm willing to bet that tomorrow when we wake up, eventually, do our little pee break and then get on the scale, we might be the same, if not even down a pound. Because those calories haven't processed into what it is, and our water weight's going to be off. And then I expect on the 16th, so 2 days from now, I expect us to rebound and recover our weight probably a little bit up from even today. So we know what we're getting into, but this isn't a diversion from eating low carb, almost keto for the remainder of the month. What this is doing is it's just a nice little interlude. We're going to have a day. We're going to pretend it's New Year's / Valentine's Day and go with that. So really, what's the summary? There is no summary. That's basically what it is. I am going to make the statement, I'm down that much weight. We'll call it 6.5. Am I going to be able to do another 6.5 by the 28th? Am I going to be able to eliminate those 2 Jaeger cheats that I had, that other bad work day cheat that I had, and then the Valentine's Day cheat? Well, I don't know. We're going to have to stick with it and not get discouraged by the raises and the lowings and the plateaus of the perceived weight on the scale there. I want to say that I feel a lot better. I'm not groggy. Now, I get exhausted in the evenings because my sleep schedule is still a little turbulent, but I'm not groggy. I'm not sluggish. When I'm awake and coherent, I think, a little bit more energy than I normally do. And I'm going to say when I'm tired, I fall out a little harder than normal too, because I don't have that slug of immediate gratification from the alcohol and the sugars that's in this happy guy right here. So I think I'm feeling sluggish when I'm not following this, and I think I'm feeling less sluggish now. And I want to say I wake up feeling great. My bones ache maybe a little bit less. I don't know. Am I perceiving that? It could be. But we're going to do this for 14 more days after this. I know this went long, but I haven't given you anything for the last 4 or 5 days. We're going to sign out right now, and we're going to go chill and have some fun. Any other extra thoughts over there, my toots?
Nope.
No? Just a few drinks?
Just a few drinks.
Chilling?
Chilling.
I'm just going to say, she's not getting on here giving updates, but
I'm down 5.5 pounds.
She's done 5.5.
But I had 3 days that I was
And she had an extra cheat day that I didn't because of, once again, a social thing with a friend. And even though it was a cheat day, it wasn't a fall off the wagon day. It was just more calories, a few extra carbs, in 2 drinks, and maybe more calories all told, just because of that. But when I say we're falling off the wagon tonight's going to be over on calories, but it's really, tomorrow's just another day. We're going to just get right back at it, right? Right. Yep. So I think that's it. I'd really love to entertain any of y'all's questions if you want to post them up at the Just Chuck and Toots email. Post comments under the video there on YouTube, or even jump over to the Day Drinking with C&T group and give us a few questions over there. I'd be glad to answer and give you my perspective on it. And if you're a naysayer, bring the naysaying too. I don't care what it is. We'll entertain the conversation as long as we are not bullying each other. And believe me, I could take a lot of punches to the face. As long as we're not playing the cyberbully and we actually know the rules of debate and can ask questions and be willing to accept the answers that I'm going to give you, whether you think it's true or not, well, we'll deal with that. But let's just have a good time with this and keep going, and we'll talk to you guys over the next few days. We'll make a few smaller videos. This was a long one. I just wanted to give a big update. If you guys are watching it through this end, have a great Valentimes. Right on.